Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Grow for Show. Thanks for tuning in with us today. Me, cause I love it. Good buddy Shwooby Doo. Oh, he's gonna be over on one of these sides, not above me. Shwooby Doo. How you doing today, man?
Not bad, man. Been pretty busy
Good.
with work. Garden's going good. How are you doing, man?
Not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. I've just working away this week. Garden is flipped into flower 2 days ago, so nothing yet, right? Just waiting game right now. I usually don't do too much in this time of the game, just kind of waiting around. How's your garden doing?
Pretty good. I had a little bit of an issue with the autopot there yesterday. Came home too. I filled the reservoir and drain my lines. Usually once a week you pump about a liter through just to make sure there's no debris buildup. I didn't close my valve all the way and it dripped out all pretty much the entire day next day. And the reservoir is in my tent again. So that's the second time I've done that.
Shit. Yeah. Just so everyone knows, the little liner that they give you that fits in the bottom of your tent.
The drip tray.
Yeah. It actually holds water.
It's watertight.
He held 10 gallons in it one time.
Cheers, Perp.
Cheers, Perp. Cheers, Dave. Thanks for stopping in, guys. It's pretty funny. I actually like those. I never knew you could trust those things. Obviously, I put it down anyway, but I have a drip tray under all of my pots, and just in case. But I can't believe it's working. Cheers, Lori.
Dave, I actually know what that is. I'm good.
What's that?
Cake farts.
Oh, I don't think I want to know what that is.
It's it's pretty much that. It floats your boat by all means, but
yeah,
no,
whatever you're into, man. Whatever you're into. So yeah, Grow's doing pretty good. We'll spend a little time later. We'll jump in and take a look at. I can pop in and show you what my unfortunate veg is looking and my not too bad flower is looking like.
Yeah.
My veg still dealing with. 2 days ago I saw bugs again, so I'm spraying more. But it's not bad. I'm just going with it. I saw a couple leaves that were deformed, and that's where I knew something's still going on in here. So I searched and searched and searched till I found some. So I'm spraying again. Yeah, not too worried about it. We'll let it run its course. Maybe buy some beneficials and throw them in there as well.
I would suggest it.
Yeah,
preventative is always the way, people.
Yeah, I have thrips. I already know for sure what it is, which is a good thing. The Bug Lady, I believe it's called.
Yep.
They sell like a package for thrips, which has got some nematodes and hypoasmus, I think it is. And yeah, put those in and see what that does. I will definitely throw some into my flowering tent because I'm guessing there's going to be something in there. I haven't seen them or signs of them, which is lucky, but
it's good, but
they're probably there. So I'm going to throw some of them in there. What's that?
So they're waiting, stalking.
Yeah. I'm going to throw some of them in there to deal with that for me, hopefully. Anything else going on in your garden? Like obviously you had some,
the water,
unfortunateness, but how?
So the water's doing? They're doing pretty good. I got one plant, the blue raspberry truffle, which doesn't like the pH the same level as all the other plants. It likes a little bit lower, I've noticed. So it's a little bit pissed off. We'll see it in a bit. So yeah, I was going through there and I found what I believe to be an egg on the one leaf, the blue raspberry truffle. So I completely stripped it down. And I haven't seen anything else, but just in case, I ran the nematodes and I started spraying the Dr. Doom, just kind of aerosol. Did that for 2 nights in a row and I haven't seen anything since. So
beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the nematodes, and I've been spraying. What's it called? Just the generic stuff, but the safer stuff that I get from
Safer's World
store. Yeah. My veg garden's looking okay. I mean, but I did the same thing. I de-leaf. So they're all little stubby plants with very little leaves on them. But yeah, they'll be fine. Seen them in worse shape, that's for sure.
For anyone watching the show and applying pesticides, first off, use proper PPE. I would suggest that, as well as spray the underside of the leaf. That's usually where the bugs will generally eat. Spraying the tops won't do really much.
I pick the plant. Right now they're just little, so I'm actually pick the plant and I hold it on its side and I spray all the way around it. And I do that with all of them. Oh, 10 after, everybody. Cheers. Ding. Oh, and my dab rig's not even turned on.
Oh, slacking.
So I do that with all of them. And then all my little clone cups or whatever, and I put them back down inside the tent. And then I mix the tops them all equally afterwards. And just
nice.
Important to make sure they get pretty coated.
Yeah, with the Dr. Doom, I've noticed like I turn all the ventilation off, close up the tent, I spray it there. It gets pretty cloudy. I have my respirator on just to be safe and the gloves. And then I walk out, let it sit off like that for about 2-3 hours, let it settle, and turn it back on and let it run its course.
I've never tried that myself.
It's actually I'd recommend it. A little pricey.
I've never got it
before, but in all honesty, it's just pyrethium. So
that's the same thing that's in these sprays that I use. Yeah,
buying it but as its base product is probably the best, and just doing a dip. But I don't
sometimes sometimes I just mix up water with a couple of drops of Dr. Bronner's all natural soap and some different essential oils, and I'll use that as an IPM. But when I'm battling a bug, I usually cycle through some different things. Like today I'm going to spray with this, tomorrow I'm going to spray with that one. Even though they do have a lot of the same ingredients, some of them have some different things. It is better, I believe, to cycle through different ingredients.
Oh yeah, they build immunity to it.
Yeah. Who else is in here today?
We just had Grape stop by, and Laurie. Cheers to
Cheers, Grape. Said hi to Laurie already. Nice to see everybody. Just chilling today. Just a hangout show. We're going to talk about gardens and what's going on in our garden. I've been doing a lot of research, just watching videos and looking at, like limiting factors in our gardens. And as a home grower, I feel like after genetics, because that's no matter what you do with an environment, if you don't have the good genetics, you're not going to have the fireweed, right? I think after genetics, environment being like a little bit of everything, like light, wind, let's just say environment as it encompass everything, is it's hard to, I think our limiting factor in the environment as a home grower is CO2. That's basically where I'm trying to get to. I've done some research on, the light input, nutrient input, like the temperature and humidities and all that stuff I can control fairly easily, as a home grower in a tent. That's what I'm saying, in a tent, not a sealed room. CO2 has been my biggest challenge. Right now, I'm not even monitoring it because I'm not adding anything. But I know like ambient CO2, what were we talking about that before? It's like 450 ppm,
Yep.
400 ppm, somewhere around there.
In that range.
Yeah, so that'd be like outside CO2. I think that if we could, like, in order for your plant to use more nutrients, drink more water, use the light better, it needs CO2. That completes the cycle of the photosynthesis, right? And I believe that after everything I've been looking at, if I want to increase, I'm just talking about like increasing yield, because I don't think CO2, I mean, yeah, you might help with quality a little bit, right? It's probably going to help with quality too, but I don't think that's the quality thing as much as environment in general, like all the other little things help with that. And genetics, obviously. I've come to the determination that CO2 is where I'm stuck. So that's where I'm at. And I want to talk about that a little bit. Like, what do you think? Like, as a home grower, or somebody who's like, you've grown enough rounds to know, like, I've done some auto pots, I've done in this, I use nutrients and overfed, I've underfed, I've tried boosters and these and that. Like, you can do all these little things that you want, but I really believe that you could stick with a base nutrient plan, the proper powerful light, good humidity, temperature, air circulation, and then all you need to do is add CO2 to increase and do better and grow more yield and maybe potentially better weed.
I would 100% agree. So
Yeah.
to me, growing decent cannabis is no different than starting a fire. You have the basic triangle. Your CO2, your light, and your nutrients or water. That's pretty much all it is. You dial it back to get those three things dialed in, and you're pretty much set. So as for ambient CO2, like we said, I measured mine up before. It's 425, just in the basement. I use the canister by TV Natural. Yes, I am a sponsored grower by them. I use their product heavily though before that, so I'm just glad I'm not paying full price for it anymore. I run one in my tent. Before I even started growing, doing the research, I would always say you can't use CO2 in a non-sealed room just because it gases out. That being said, I figured I'll give it a shot. I ran one, I think it was my second grow, no CO2, took cuttings of everything, ran it again with CO2, and exact same feed, time span, light, increased my yield 30%. So that's, to me right there, was enough evidence just firsthand. I don't have a monitor anymore, so I would like to look into one. I know Penal Grow Systems actually just came out with one, which is very tempting.
Cool.
So yeah. But yeah,
you already have the whole P&L system, so you might be able to just add it at a fairly reasonable price. I'm looking at just trying to find the cheapest sort of CO2 monitor I can find, that just to kind of tell me
a rough guideline.
Yeah, and then from there I'll decide do I invest. If I already had the monitoring system you've had, I'd do the same thing. It would make no sense to try to do something different at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I am also, I'm going to try one of those TMB naturals too, just for the hell of it, because I also believe that you can increase that. I mean, just, I know some guys who grow organically and do monitor CO2, okay? And just their organic medium itself is creating enough CO2 over the night span when their lights are out and the plants aren't eating as hard, that when they come on in the morning, their CO2's up to like 2,000 ppms in their garden or more.
My question is, how long does that 2,000 ppm reading stay that level during the day?
So I've asked him that question, and he seems to think that it's lasting about 3 to 4 hours at that. Well, sorry, it takes 3 to 4 hours for it to get from that level down to where it sits, and it sits, he said, between 8 and 1100 ppm still, just just from his medium.
Yep.
And this is only in a 4x4 space, but he's growing organically, and like, he's got 2 potters in there, but it takes up the whole 4x4 area. So, congratulations, Perp. Fucking lucky bastard, wins everything. Just joking, but that's awesome, man. AC Infinity
You're Steelberg.
Cloudline 6. Is that what you got? The 6-inch or T6? That's a sweet sweet win, brother. Yeah, so I'm gonna order me up one of those TMB naturals too. I would love to have those guys come on to a show with us and tell us some of their science behind it, because I'm sure they're gonna have some good research on it.
Oh, they are very handy to have, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Every week or every month you get an email from just based on new research, and it's pretty handy.
Yeah. And what's their canister and what do we get from it? Like, how do you have one there you can talk about, show us what they look like and stuff, or
on hand? No,
you don't have them with you right now.
They're in the basement.
Yeah. Maybe on the next show we'll bring one and show everyone what they are, have a little bit more of a conversation about it. But let's do a quick conversation about it right now. So what exactly
It's
do
the
you get
size of a
with
1
it?
liter bottle. You
Yep.
get so if you just buy the canister itself, it has one refill already in it. It's pretty much just a plastic canister, has an extended lid you hang from the top of your tent.
Mhm.
You buy a little rope, whatever, hang it up. You rip the sticker off. There's a little hole you pop through in the middle. You fill it full of 1 liter of warm water, close it up, shake it up, put in your tent. That's it.
So
Oh,
what?
here's the 420.
Cheers! Happy 420, everybody.
It's got a type of yeast inside of it that
I was
just
gonna
with the
say, is it
water,
just yeast?
it's just
Okay.
yeast. It's nothing too crazy, but it just the
Hmm.
size of the hole diameter is a nice time release. So if you
Okay.
pick it up, it'll pretty much hiss for gonna say 4 to 5 hours, fill your tent up. Not
All
aggressively,
right.
just low, and it always just constantly kind of dissipates out because it's
Okay.
CO2 is bigger than air, so it always comes out the bottle and drains down. So
Yep.
you always
Yep.
clean them above your tent, okay, above your plants. Sorry. But yeah, they're super simple. One refill lasts about, they say 3 weeks, which is pretty much bang on. Some other hydro stores will say 4 weeks. Don't. I've noticed my CO2 level will drop if it gets about 3.5 weeks. So
Yep.
yep,
So
but
you're using like one canister and one refill per flower kind of thing,
yep,
right?
and pretty much one veg. I'll throw one in veg even too sometimes, just to, if I notice
Yep.
plants are getting a little bit yellow, just help nutrient uptake.
Yep.
And you can cheat a little bit and get your light that much closer.
That's what I do in my veg garden. When I see the yellowing, that's when I use recharge. That's when I use like some microbial mass, which I've started using. Um, Something like that. And it will it's not around here right now, but one of those
Just me.
things. Yeah, within 24, 48 hours, no joke, green it right up again. Those things work well.
Here's a question for you. What
So
are 3 staples you keep in your grow supply? 3 things you always have to have in stock.
you mean other than like the nutrients,
Yeah.
like just regular A and B and stuff kind of thing?
In case of emergency, we'll say, like, do you have a foliar feed you keep on hand or like a homemade concoction?
No, I usually have something for bugs, which is important to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that longer. What do I have that like you go first because you must have something
I
on your mind.
I have a foliar spray I keep for just in case like the plant looks a little bit hungry versus the other
Hmm.
ones. If I'm running an autopod system, just a conversation made me kind of think of this.
Yeah,
So optic foliar 6, I use that shit like it's barbecue sauce and everything.
I've never tried it. I what for foliar, I'd always use just a small mixture of my Remo products because they have a kelp based item and uh, I used to put kelp and I think with just the CalMag and kelp was all I used to use in there. A really light dose of that.
See, I used to make my own as well, but I started looking into it. If your foliar mix isn't made strong enough, you're actually leaching nutrients out of your plant, so it'd be counteractive. So I was
Yeah.
kind of concerned about that. So I figured, okay, I don't want to waste
How
the nutrients.
how strong is that optic foliar?
I'll have to double check off the bottle just to be precise, but I know it's roughly around 400 ppm.
I
That's
was gonna say because I used to spray at 400 ppm.
yeah.
Do you know what's in it? Is it just a base, like a nutrient base, or like a normal, or is
From
it got
I haven't actually looked into that far. I just know it
it
qualifies for,
works?
yes, it works. I was suggested to me by a buddy. I was like, I'll give it a shot. He had a little bit of a bottle left, and yeah, using some clones, and it's a staple for
You
cutting
know what though?
season, emergencies.
I think that's important for everyone to know. Even though like you didn't do research on the item that much, you just
It,
somebody kind of recommended to you. You were like, I'll try it out,
a
and you
trusted
used it,
grower
and you're like,
record.
no, dude, it
Yeah.
works.
Yes.
And that's like I'm asking you what's in. You're like, I honestly didn't research it that much, but I'll tell you, it works.
Yep.
And to me,
Yeah.
that's the best.
Yes, like Perp said, it works with the lights on. You can spray it anytime. It
Oh,
doesn't react.
really? That's what
Yes.
I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, you can drench your plants and they stay happy.
I'm gonna get some then. I'll have to check the details. He says too.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's talking about that. Yeah, okay. For the controller. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get some too because I like stuff like that. That's why, like, right. I'm not. None of the stuff that I use is something that someone gave me or that I'm trying it because I've heard from someone that they've experienced it and used it, or I've used it and I'm not letting it go. You know, and
Exactly.
I like it for that kind of reason. And I like how
I'll
I
let
think
you
it's
know a
important.
bad product and I'll let you know a good product. That's
Yeah.
I'm not no hold bars. That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
So
And
yeah, we opting.
we're not gonna be bought with products either. All the stuff we use, we buy ourselves, and if we don't, we'll tell you. Just like the TMB Naturals, it's the only thing that he's got any help with. And I'll be the judge of it too when I use it. I'll let you know.
I was using it
I'm gonna
before
pay
I
full
got
price. I'm gonna
sponsorship.
buy it and try it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it
exactly.
was something I've consistently used, and not to mention, it's a lot easier than having the canister and the regulator and having it set just right.
Mhm.
Because let's be honest, if you use the canister and you don't have that set properly, you can have a bad experience. You might not wake
Yeah,
up. That's just
I'll let everyone know when I buy it, where I buy it from, what kind of cost it is, and how much it's going to cost me for a grow to run it. And I'll also let you know that I'm not going to be running it through my whole veg garden and stuff. I'm just going to be using it for flowering.
okay.
So once I figure it out, I'll let people know so that people are interested, because that's, I think, the best way to review an item, especially if you don't know what it is, you've never tried it before.
Well, that's just it. It's like I've been using it for a while, so I'm kind of a biased opinion here, but you're fresh to it, so
Yeah,
let's get you some and see how you like it.
yeah, and I'll see if my local grow store has it, because if they do, I would like to first of all support a brick and mortar somewhere, a guy who can, or a company that, small company like that, who needs it. If they don't have it or I can't find it, then I'll look for the online somewhere and I'll order it. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe we can take a look at grows for a few minutes. I'll go pop in and
There you go, Bob. Man, I'll keep him preoccupied.
all right. Let me just join in here with my other.
The other two must-haves in my tent or my grow area that I must have is the
Oh yeah.
nematodes. I run that every cycle, nonstop, all the time. Those things are your best friends. You don't see them really; they stay away, and they help you so much. And the third one, believe it or not, it's a backup power bank bar, just in case. 'Cause I do not have it fully all hardwired yet, seeing as I'm probably moving in the next year or so, not even. So next house will be all pony paneled up. Right as of right now, I'm just doing power bars and making sure everything's breaker wise, not over 35 amps like it's supposed to be. It's very tedious, but we make it work. Clean your bong water. Clean your bong water.
That's actually not bad. It's just from today, man. It looks
I'm just
yellower than it
busting your
does on the
balls.
camera. It's funny. When I look at it in person, it's not that bad. But yeah, I just today, imagine that.
Oh
Couple
wow.
of ball noots. All right, I'm gonna go pop into
Be sure to spotlight yourself.
Jardin. Oh yeah,
Yeah. We're not doing this mistake twice. We're learning, people.
no doubt, no doubt. If I can figure out how to do it. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so let's go into the flower space first, and we'll see how everything's going in here. Turn off some fans so it's not super loud. All right, and am I there?
I see it. I see the
Beautiful.
plants.
All right, so I showed everybody last week what this looked like. If you're not sure, take a look at last week's video. You'll get a comparison. And I'm gonna go ahead and do just a fucking weekly update for everybody and kind of show you what's gonna happen here. So this was 6 really ugly overgrown mothers that I had. I was about to throw them all in the garbage, and I realized it's gonna be weeks before I'm ready to flower any of those clones and cuttings I had. So I said, fuck it, brought them in here, bent them over like really, really bad, and then let them grow a little bit. They're now 2 days into flowering. You can see this plant's a little lighter green. They're all on the same feeding schedule, but they're 5 different genetics of the 6 plants in here. Will I adjust it? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see if maybe I'll mix my next feed a little hot, take some out of it, and then add some water to the rest of it and water it back down to what it needs to be for the rest of them. But you'll see also all of the tips have a little bit of a lighter green right now. That's, to me, that's normally a sign of stretch, which happens like that. The darker leaves, there's not a lot of them because the week before I flipped it, I plucked a lot of leaves off, mostly for air movement because it was getting hard to control my humidity in here.
Hey, cuz.
Yep.
You pinned the wrong screen.
Oh, how's that possible? What screen is pinned?
Perk saying it's pinned on. He can't see anything. It's going to your Grow for Show. Just because I love it one.
All right.
It should be click the because I love a garden and pin that one.
That's what I did here.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see what happens if I just do this. All right. They must see it right now, right?
I'm on a delay, so I can't tell.
Oh, you're not on YouTube. Just give me a second here. Sorry, everybody. All right, now let's see what happens if I hit pin. Okay, I see it in full screen on my Zoom. Let's see what happens with YouTube.
Now it's on the gallery view. So put it on speaker.
Yeah. Oh, weird. It went back to that. That's fucked up. Okay.
I think it's because your audio is going through there.
Maybe. So I'll have to just unpin it for now, guys.
Yeah.
And you'll have to look at it on a small video. That sucks.
If you blow it up on your screen, it looks beautiful.
All right. It'll be back to gallery there in a second, guys. So anyway, I'll finish describing what I'm going through. Just yeah, a little bit of the light green tops. That's some stretching up. Like I said, it's only 2 days after flip. And yeah, we'll come back each week, do a quick update. I'll go back down here in case this stuff wasn't showing earlier. This is what I was talking about. The 6 plants on the bottom. Running through some issues having, different genetics. Like I was saying, this is the one that's a little yellower than the rest. They all have a little bit of yellow tops, but that's stretching happening.
Nice.
Pretty happy with the way they look. Filled out the top of that pretty good. I think I'll end up with about 18 inches of canopy when I'm done. That's what I'm hoping for.
You mean in height or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should be about 18, maybe 24 inches if I'm lucky. I get that. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you go for number of tops? Like, are you specifically looking for a number of tops per plant, or are you just trying to fill that space?
I'm just trying to fill the space.
Okay.
Yep. Fill the space, but I have a grid here. You know what I mean? And I fill the grid. Like, that's important to me. I'd like to see a top coming up out of every one of these.
Okay.
That's sort of the way I normally do it.
Good.
Yeah, you'll see through the weeks. Like I can see right now there's going to be spots that are stretching much taller than others. And I see that there's going to be spots that are going to look kind of bare. Well, what I will do is I'll take some of those tall ones and I'll lean them into the bare looking areas, and I'll do some of that. This is going to be a monstrosity of canopy because they're 5 different genetics and I've never flowered any of these out before. So I honestly don't know what I'm in for stretch. I don't know what I'm in for. So let's just see. That'll be a really fun thing for everyone to watch and see if it's successful or how it works out. But I'll tell everyone that my normal average in this tent when I monocrop is right around 2 pounds, sometimes a little under, sometimes a little over.
Nice, nice.
All
I'm very
right,
curious to
and
see which plants stretch.
I will figure out how to do. I wonder if I just for the hell of it. I wonder if I'll check it next time. If I do the audio, connect the audio from my
Your phone.
phone next time when I do that, and
Okay.
then I'll just mute myself on the other one so that I can pin my screen. I bet you that had something to do with it.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
We'll tinker after the show and figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I didn't even go to the veg space, did I? Yeah, let's take a look at that too. We might as well.
Might as well, buddy.
Just give me 1 second. Since I'm sitting down, I'm gonna do a bong hoot in between. Cha-cha,
Cha-cha.
cha-cha. So you just have a little flowering going on right now. You have the auto pots. And obviously you have some cuttings or something in your
No,
little veg
that
space
I
as well.
I only have those 6 plants going right now. That
No, you
is
don't.
it. That is
Oh, you're
it.
gonna pop seeds and everything. You have to start right from freshly fresh. Oh,
Mhm.
I've never done that because I'm always like, what if the next batch doesn't have one as good as this one? So I always keep something around.
So I'm still in veg with this autopod, so I can still take cuttings anytime. But yeah, so I didn't keep any mothers. I cleared everything out because with the new kid on the way, I'm not sure what's gonna go in the cold room. So I had to clear space.
That's
And
crazy.
after me and the wife talked about it, I'm keeping the tent going, so I'm gonna fill it back
Yeah,
up.
that's crazy, crazy, crazy. And thanks, Perp, for letting us know that the videos weren't working properly that way. That's something we'll
Yeah,
have to
good looking out,
figure
bud.
out. I'm guessing it's because the audio. Um, we'll check out the.
Hey, go see some veg.
Okay, now these girls are.
I'm judging.
I don't care. They're a little bit not happy, but it's kind of good that you get to see them
It's a real grow.
change. Yeah. Oh, let's try this. Okay, hold on.
Connecting audio.
Yep. Oops. Wrong button. And then, oh, sorry, everyone.
When
Does
you
that
talk,
work?
you're on gallery view right now.
There
On
we
my
go.
screen, sorry, yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens. I'm just gonna pin it right now first before I go away.
I'll let you know what's pinned. It lets me show what's on the screen, but I don't get to see it on YouTube for delay.
I'm looking at YouTube right now,
Okay.
watching to see. There we go. It is working.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, it just pins whoever's talking. So when you talk, it pinned you, but that's fine. Okay. There we go. I hope the volume's okay for everyone.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah, they're just little, but they've all got some structure to them already, you know, because I top really early. We'll see how they grow up, but they're some ugly girls right now. I had to strip leaves off them, sprayed them. They're not happy. This is where a foliar feet would come in handy. So maybe
Yep.
I'm going to order up some of that optic tonight.
When you water those, are you bottom feeding or top feeding?
Top feeding.
Okay.
Always. I have done some bottom feeding, like when I go away and stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't like the results. I find
You're muted, bud. There you go.
I find when I go back to top feeding after bottom feeding, I end up with salt buildup every time my plants don't like it. So I try not to bottom feed if I can help it.
Okay.
I think bottom feeding is a great and probably the best, maybe not the best, but one of the easiest techniques if I was doing organics though, again, that's what I would do. Because I'd load my soil and I would have a wicking system of some sort to just wick plain water up into there and keep it moist. Because organics likes that just stay at one moisture kind of grow. Where with salts, I think we use that dry back as a thing, you know.
It's needed.
Yeah.
You can't just let out roots. You gotta let some air going through. So,
and I measure my inputs and what's coming out all the time of my runoff. So like right now, I know I'm feeding around 900 ppms.
Yep.
At a 5, well, when I was vegging between 5.6 and 5.8 ppms, and now that I'm flowering, it'll be more like 5.8 to 6.0, and then I'll actually work my way up to 6.2 by the end of week 3 or 4, and I'll be there till the rest of it.
Nice.
I look at my inputs, and then when my runoff comes, I grab that and I test that. And I have all my pots in individual saucers, so I can see each pot individually what their input and output is.
Yep.
And I know that I'm always a little bit overfeeding because my garden has a bit of a higher ppm of food coming out than going in, so I'm sitting around 1100 right now.
Okay.
I'm just looking really quickly here in my notes. About pH that I've learned and experienced this. So learning meaning it's not something I've come up on my own and just experienced. I've learned it from someone else, and then watched for it and seen it happen, now experience it. The runoff of my pH. If the runoff of my pH is coming out higher than what I'm putting in, my plants need more food to help stabilize that pH.
Yep.
If my runoff of my pH is coming out much lower, then I bet you the ppm of your medium is also way higher than it needs to be, and they're eating too much. They're feeding them too much. They're not eating it. So I learned that, and sorry, I had to go to my notes so I could remember the order of up and down, because what I do is I just look for what's happening and I go, oh shit, it's going up. And I come back and I read my notes and I say, okay, that means this, right?
Yeah.
Something pretty cool that I experienced, and definitely it works. So I'm always looking at that. And a couple of points, like if I was watering at 5.8 and it coming out at 5.7 or 5.6, I wouldn't even consider that. But if I was watering at 5.8 and it was coming out at like 5.5, 5.4, 5.3, I'd say, okay, let's adjust the food to get where I need to be.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Cheers, Aldi. Ian, thanks for dropping by, guys. Raptorius, didn't even see it, but thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
How did you not see the dragon?
Yeah.
Motherfucking awesome. Dragon.
So yeah, and I think you do a little bit of both too, bottom feeding and top feeding.
Yep.
But you're bottom feeding even with salt. So yeah, tell me about that.
So I bottom feed with salts during the rooting stage, in early veg. Mm-hmm. So I do a redneck hydroponic system, just 2 solo cups in each other with holes in the bottom of the first cup and water hole the second cup. Just drop it in, the water wicks up, pull it out when it's empty, or pull it out every day, give it a check. If it's empty, top it up a little bit, put it back in. I don't overwater it, so it's just just what it needs. That way, the top a little bit still gets air. Like you never see moisture on the top of that cocoa for that little solo cup. It's only in the bottom a little bit. So when you're saying like the salt comes up, I think that's where we're a little bit different. I'm watering them very, very little, like less than an ounce per feed. So.
Yeah, but because the top of that cocoa never gets wet and it always stays dry, that's exactly where that That's exactly where that level of salt is going to build up, right where it's wet
The water
and
stops.
dry. Yeah. So as soon as you were to ever top feed that, I would recommend that the first one be something maybe even with a little flushing agent. Run that through.
And that's generally what I do when I transplant. When I go to transplant, I use a typhoon cleanser. It's from IPP, and I flush the shit out of it.
Yeah, and then go right back to feeding what you want in there, so that
then I go to top feed.
And you can just do like a good 25 or 50% sort of overfeed, and you'll know your medium's got what you wanted in there.
So when I flush, or when I'm like resetting the soil or the cocoa when transplanting, I will pretty much do it for a day or two until I notice the leaves going like green and I know it's hungry, and then I start reintroducing food.
Okay, that you do that when you're like even in the middle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. It usually you can tell within a day or two when you're at maybe 3 tops.
Especially if you're in cocoa, because
oh yeah,
it's not going to hold
if you're
anything.
in soil, it's a way different game.
For myself, when I'm in cocoa and I want to sort of flush, I actually mix up like a 400 ppm mixture, and I just run a lot of it through. That's called a flush for me, because I want it to have some food in there, because that cocoa doesn't hold anything. I learned that really fast. If you run anything, even if you can actually just run CalMag through it, like a little bit of calcium, magnesium.
It won't grab anything.
Very light, like a couple hundred ppm, so that or it won't hold anything. It won't. So let's see what happens. We'll update each week on the grow. Hopefully Shrew can find a way so that we can get to see his come along as well. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing that.
I'll log on the phone here and go show you guys.
Oh, there we go. That's an easy way to do it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna mute myself now so I don't get that echo effect.
Yeah, no problem. So how's everyone doing in chat today? I'll hop on the neighborhood later and see everybody, but thanks for popping in here to hang out with us. Appreciate it. Oops, I better let Schwoob in the room. Here I am, like, where's Schwoob? There's a boy. Let me see what happens if I.
Yeah, the worst part was I was yelling at the computer and let me in, but I'm muted.
All right, try to mute you here. Can you? There we go. Let's see what happens on the screen.
Let's see how this works.
There we go.
So here we go. A CO2 canister. I actually rock 2 usually. I start them in between separate weeks. So first one runs this one for week 1. Then about halfway through the second and a half week, I'll run the second one. Just to kind of alleviate, because there is some dissipation in production of CO2. Going to the tent itself, the golden goat with the aerodome. Golden goat without the aerodome. They're a little bit of a re-veg because I took them off the flowering plant, but still doing pretty healthy.
Yeah, looking good, man.
Scarlet begonias, a little LSD done to it with a little garden wire, just wrap it around, stretch it around. Dark hollow, needs to be moved away from the light a little bit. And she needs a little bit more food, I think. Then you have the Space Force.
Awesome.
Nice healthy plant here.
I really like your technique of using that garden wire to
just wrap it around, and
yeah, I like that.
It's handy. Less likely to break it. That's what I noticed. And here's a blue raspberry truffle that's been giving me a little bit of problems since I stated earlier. Yeah, she's not totally upset, but she's not perfect either.
Yeah, I like it. She's a little droopy, but that's probably just side effects to what she had.
Well, that was the one that went completely dry when I had the leak yesterday. So the only autopot was completely dry was that one. Everyone else still had a full stock of water.
Yeah, cool.
Looking
good. Looking good.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome. Yeah, that's nice. Glad we get to see an update of that too. So that's the auto pot system. 6 auto pots get it, so they'll be bottom fed from a reservoir. That's pretty cool. That's a much different technique than what I do. Oh, that sounds like fun, Ian. Wish I was chopping right now. I'm definitely weeks away from that. Just getting, just barely getting started. Oh, forgot I turned my dab rig on. Who wants to do a dab with me? Perp.
I do.
I don't know why, but even when I put it into, I pin that screen, it always goes into speaker mode. So if I talk, it takes your full screen away and puts me on full screen. It's annoying. So
Yeah.
I was trying to not talk too much so that we could stay on there. But and then if I went to gallery, it just went back to gallery. I don't know. I don't know why it does that. If anybody knows, tell me so we can fix it. Because we should. Sorry, go ahead.
Camera. Just get a dedicated camera. Have a constant feed.
Yeah.
Run Streamlabs. Put a nice little screen right here.
I have Streamlabs. I should get a camera for it and do that.
And I'm slowly leaning that way.
All right.
Takes time.
Ding.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. It looks so tasty. Is that primal punch rosin?
Yes, sir. It is freshly pressed 2 days ago.
I remember it. It's so good. Ian, yeah, you have to pop that dark hollow. There are some good beans.
Well, that's good. Hitting it on email at 385 degrees Fahrenheit.
Taking notes. 385 Fahrenheit.
So tasty like that. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that was a big one. So next week we will update on the gardens again. It'll be really cool learning experience. And next week I will get I'll flip all the signs around on the plants so I can see which one's which. That way there we can talk about the strains a little bit and maybe the differences and things. Because they are quite a bit different, and all except for one of them are some fairly good breeders that people might be interested in seeing what their stuff is like. I have some Hyrule genetics, some Ethos genetics in there, some Irie genetics, and the one bag seed. And then let's see at the end what's better, bag seed or money paid genetics. Could be the luck of the draw of the bag seed, right? That's sometimes fun.
Do we know what the bag seed's from?
Yes, I do. The strain was called Honey Cream. That's all I know about it. I have never looked it up to see what was what, but I know for sure that was because it was half-pound baggies that my buddy had, and he came over and he was like, "Hey, try some of this," and we pulled out a big fucking bud, and we were busting up a joint, and a seed fell out. He's like, "Oh, look at that," and I was like, "I'll take that." And he's like, "What you gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know, I might pop it," and that was 6 months later. I popped it, and I have tasted it, and I know it was really tasty. But I grew out a single bud that weighed, I think it was about 3-4 grams, somewhere around there when it was done. And all I did was put in, and the only reason why I even grew it out. So what I did is I popped a seed, and I got it about 6 inches tall, 8 inches tall. I cut the top off as a clone.
Yep.
Cloned it, took the other part, put it into a flowering tent in the solo cup, and I cut the bottom out of the solo cup and set it on one of the other pots and let it root into that pot.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I let it flower. I was only going to leave it there, honestly, to see if it was female. It was literally going to stay there for 2 weeks or a week and see if it showed sign of flower, and I was going to take it out. And then it stretched up to the height of the rest of the garden. I said, fuck, I'm leaving it. And yeah, that was it. It was good, but very little experience with it. I might have just been over happy because I got this cool little bud out of this little stick, so that I'm growing some now to get a proper judgment of it. Oh
Nice.
shit, ready for a dab now. I already dabbed. Damn it. Perp. Do one anyway, bro. Do another one. Well, everyone, yeah, thanks again for hanging out at another show with us. We really enjoy doing this, just hanging out and talking about gardens and being part of this
Talking
cool community. Best fucking community.
Yeah.
Cheers to everyone. Thanks for popping by. Schwoob.
Just like always. Where can we find you, bud?
Find me at all of these places here under that name. So that anyone who's just listening, that'd be YouTube, Discord, Instagram. Find me under Cause I Love It. You can also find us under the Grow For Show. And you're gonna find me in the neighborhood.
Sweet deal, buddy. Sweet deal.
And yourself?
Find me on Instagram, should we do? On YouTube, on Tuesday nights here, Saturdays Operation Grow, and the odd time Monday, if not in the chat, on the show for Neighborhood Grows. But I'm always on the Discord.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks again. See you.